Hey, I wanted to check in really quickly about the regional caucus meeting, which covered the territories of Europe and North America. So the other night we met to discuss the outcome documents, which have been worked on throughout CSW. These documents, most of the work week is focused on the language, and so government representatives come together and they determine what language they're okay with. And these documents aren't very legally binding. Primarily they're used by civil society participants and NGOs as language to go back to their home countries and say this is language that officials across the globe have come to a consensus on, and use it to lobby them for domestic policies. So they have the initial draft when they come into CSW, and then Monday night we had a briefing about what changes have occurred, and they released the document, which I am still working through. So some important topics that were brought up was, well, a really big one was how this year women had a lot of trouble actually coming to CSW. Many visas were blocked, which isn't really a surprise given the Trump administration's policies. So a lot less folks were able to be here and be in part of the discussions and work on these documents. So that was touched upon. Big focus was domestic violence. There was a woman who stood up and made the point that we need to include, specifically in North America, police violence, but in general, state-sanctioned violence or military violence, which I imagine is going to be a lot harder to put in those documents than one might hope. Let's see. State violence. Oh, the other really huge thing that we discussed was the Global Threat Index report of 2017 was mentioned in relation to water. And so what this report says is by 2025, 40% of the globe is going to have a hard time acquiring water on a daily basis. And as we all know, water is necessary for life. So if you can't have it, you can't live. So this is why international discussions and international cooperation is really important, because those are natural resources that we all share. And in North America, we could think of it, we want to have good international cooperation because on our continent, we hold 33% of the entire globe's freshwater supply. So as these supplies dwindle, it's going to become a more pressing issue because corporations that bottle water and bring it everywhere else, they're gonna come and take our water. So it's an international issue, but it's very much a domestic issue, and it disproportionately affects girls across the globe. The first people to be taken out of school are young girls, and they spend the entire day walking to get their water. So that puts them at a double risk. They're missing education, and then they're vulnerable to attack and rape while they go to get this water. So we need to come up with creative strategies about how to not only educate those girls, but protect them, and also come to a consensus on what we're going to do about depleting resources as that becomes more of a challenge. And so these are just forums to discuss ideas and try to understand policies that can be put in place. And once I have an understanding of the more specifics of this document, I will report back. I will post those documents. It was also pointed out that the youth forum document did not get posted. I thought it had, but it did not. So I will make sure that that's up. And that's all for now. All right, bye.